And the New Berlin Police Department calls the FBI in Milwaukee. And it says there's a guy in a Cadillac with a foreign accent who claimed he was at the FBI. So they go and they interview the two jamokes in the filling station. And the FBI agent comes to my office and he says, we'd like you to prosecute this guy for impersonating an FBI man. So I look at the case, I listen to the case. Nah, I decline. It's a skinny case, these two guys, ridiculous. And then they leave. Within 24 hours, I get a call from the assistant director of the FBI, Mr. Gimbel. I'm calling for J. Edgar Hoover. Mr. Hoover is aware that you declined to prosecute this man, Peter Hurkos, for impersonating an FBI agent. And he, Mr. Hoover, is of the view that Mr. Hurkos sabotages the reputation of the FBI in many places. He's nothing but a two-bit entertainer who claims that he can solve crimes with his extrasensory perception. So we'd like you to reconsider. I said, okay, I'll prosecute the guy. I got a freaking call from J. Edgar Hoover. Here I'm, 26 or 27-year-old guy, and J. Edgar Hoover wants me to prosecute the case. And so I did. So he gets arrested, and he comes in, and I prosecute him. We got a jury trial, and there's one of the lawyers is a guy named W. Rothstein. He was a great criminal lawyer in Milwaukee, trial lawyer. I don't know if you ever knew him. It was before your time. And he was a good friend of my mother and father. And my dad would come to court sometimes when I was trying cases. So I'm trying Hurkos. And he gets up on the stand and he talks about the fact that he's considered to be a great assistance to law enforcement all over the United States. And he goes in his wallet and he's got honorary member, a detective of the Nashville, Miami, Los Angeles police departments. And so the argument that they make is that he didn't say that I was with the FBI. He said, I work on cases that the FBI does too. I am an investigator, okay? In any event, they put some character witnesses on the stand. Now, I call a woman as a character witness, and the case is over. What is your name? My name is Vanda van der Herk. What do you do? I am a mother. Do you know the defendant in this case, Peter Hurkos? I do. How do you know him? I was married to him. How long were you married to him? 15 years. Did he ever misrepresent himself that you ever were aware of? I don't know, but I would say that it certainly is possible. What about his character? Does he have a reputation for honesty in the people that you know and the people that he knows generally? He does. What is his reputation? He is a liar. He couldn't tell the truth if it helped him. No more questions. Rothstein gets up. Mrs. Vanderherk, you hate this man, don't you? That is not true. Well, you don't like him, do you? That is not true. Are you telling this court, I got 11 women on the jury. Are you telling this court that you still love this man? Now tears come down from her eyes, and she turns to see the federal judge. Judge Kenneth Grube was a very serious man. Your Honor, must I answer that question? No, you don't have to answer that question. Move on to your next. All right, Mrs. Vanderherk, I want you to tell me the names of those people that you talk to that have told you that your ex-husband is a liar. Well, there was Mr. and Mrs. Sidney Polachek. Where do they live? 1922 South blah, blah, blah Street. She went through 15 names, which I had prepped her for. And the jury now, these women, are looking at her, and they're looking at him, and they want to fucking hit him on the head, okay? Cases in the jury. It's publicized, but they don't have TV cameras in the federal court. But they got journalists all over the place. And they go up to Hurkos, who's a performer. Well, Mr. Hurkos, you're a clairvoyant. You know everything's going to happen. What's going to happen with this case? He says, the jury will be back in 10 minutes. I will be found not guilty. Okay, fine and dandy. Go out in the hallway. My father's watching this case. And he comes up to me and he says, you go and you apologize to Mr. Rothstein. I says, what do you mean? Well, you were insulting him in your closing argument. Now, W. Rothstein comes over. He says, nice job, Frank. You did a great job. And my dad says, I'm so sorry. The kid cut him some slack because he doesn't know better. He's insulting. He said, he did perfect. I would have done exactly the same thing if I was out on the other side. That's what we do. I had no disrespect for it. If what I said offended you, I apologize for that. I went through it. Yeah. Well, 5 minutes later, jury's back. Boom, they found him guilty.
Well, he was half right.
Yeah. It was a little longer than he thought. But they found him guilty, and the sentence was probation, and he had to surrender all of his honorary police badges. That was part of the sentence from Judge Grube. I recently did a check on him. I did a computer check on Peter Hurkos. Right after that trial, within I would say 6 months, he's out there selling himself as clairvoyant, solving crimes, and doing everything else. Never changed.
Was he a bit of a character around?
Oh, definitely a character. He had this shtick. He said he was a painter. He fell off his lead and became clairvoyant.
Yeah,
and this country is a place they love bullshit stories like that.
But that was your only interaction with him, huh?
That was my only interaction with him. Yeah. And I wouldn't even have brought the case if J. Edgar Hoover had. Now I got a personal letter from J. Edgar Hoover
as a result of that conviction.
Dear Mr. Gimbel, my colleagues and I want to tell you what an extraordinary job you did, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
And he signed it, J. Edgar Hoover. And it was real ink.